took the keys of death, hell, and the grave, and he is alive in us today. Make some noise!
Yeah, yeah. You know you're always on time for me. You know you never told lies to me. Tell me when you want me, Lord. You can call me your property. You never been rude, no. Don't know what's going on anymore. And I could try and do things my way, but it just ain't those things. How can I replace your love? You got so much to give, and you got so much to lend. I don't deserve what you give. Lord, I do not deserve your love. You got so much to give, and you got so much to lend. I don't deserve it. You keep giving me so much love, so much love, so much love, so much love. Whoa. Lord, how can I replace your love? You got so much to give. You give so much love, so much love. Whoa. So much. You keep serving me the life no waiter. I see me doing life your way. Trying to find you with a light locator. That's what I want you in my life for. Everything goes your way. I never let a thing go, no way. You know I got a thing for your grace. I shouldn't try to do things my way, no. How can I replace your love? You got so much to give, and you got so much to lend. I don't deserve what you give. No, I do not deserve your love. You got so much to give, and you got so much to lend. I don't deserve it. You keep giving me so much love, so much love, so much love, so much love. Whoa. Lord, how can I replace your love? You got so much to give. You give so much love, so much love. Whoa. So much. So much. No telling what you would do for me. You love me like one, you keep me in company. I don't know why you would do for me. You hold me so close and you keep me in company. Lord, how can I replace your love? You got so much to give, and you got so much to lend. I don't deserve what you give. No, I do not deserve your love. You got so much to give, and you got so much to lend. I don't deserve it. You keep giving me so much love, so much love, so much love, so much love. Whoa. Lord, how can I replace your love? You got so much to give. You give so much love, so much love. Whoa. So much. So much.
Join the presiding moderator, Dr. Walter L. Glover Jr., and the Greater Zion Hill Missionary Baptist Church at their new time, 9:15 a.m. until 10:15 a.m. every Sunday morning on The Glory, 980 a.m. WDDO. The moderator invites you to join them this coming Sunday at 9:15 a.m. Middle Georgia, welcome to the WDDO weekly lineup. It's Regiment with Rhonda. Yes, it's Middle Georgia's very own Rhonda Bird. She's joining the Glory Express Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10:15 a.m. That's Regiments with Rhonda. Come, get just a little bit. 10:15 on the Glory Express, 980 WDDO.
You don't need to dream about drowning in the community through gospel.
The new 107.9 FM, W300EB,
Macon, and WDDO 980 AM,
Perry.
Macon.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of the Glory 980 AM, the Glory Media Group, LLC, WDDO AM, its staff, management, or advertisers, but are the views and opinions of the participants of the broadcast.
Woo! Oh yeah, they do it up. All right, y'all. It's Wednesday, and you know what time it is. It's 3, and it's me back. This is your voice, Commissioner Elaine Lucas, welcoming you to Ask Elaine. And we have some special guests. One who was with us on last week, and we promised we'd have him back. And we're just so happy to have Reverend Dr. Henry Ficklin, who used to be my partner in crime years ago. Years ago, as you get older, you can't do too much crime. You just have to slow it down and find you somebody.
Always glad to be back and back in the mix and back being your partner, whether it's in crime or anything.
Oh, whatever. Our other special guest is Miss Sharice Stevens, and she is the head of our small business program for Macon-Bibb County. And we are so thrilled to have both of them here with us. We want to, first of all, welcome you again. We want to thank you for your loyalty. Thank you so much for tuning in by radio. There's some people who sneak off and take their break during this time so that they can hear what's going on, because they know they're going to hear some good information, something that's going to help them in some area of their life. There's not big one. And then we want to thank our sponsors. I especially want to thank my sister, Beverly, who has the Glory Baking Company. And if she's tuned in, Beverly, there's somebody who needs a German chocolate cake. They're going to be calling you. So if you eat, have you had any of her cake? Oh,
it's delicious.
Look, oh goodness. She can make, I have seen her make a cake with a Louis Vuitton design. The brown color, the traditional Louis Vuitton, not all this new stuff, this ugly stuff. But anyway, she can make the frosting, with the colors and the design, the LV and all of that. She has made that. She's made a minister's birthday or anniversary. She's made a robe, a folded robe. It was a cake. It was like a folded robe with the Bible on it and something that she can, but believe me, you
I want a carrot cake.
Oh, she does that. It's the Glory Baking Company. And these two distinguished owners of this station, they've tasted those cupcakes, so they know. They every time I mention it, they just start smacking. They just know they're just delicious. But thank you. We want to express our condolences to those families who have lost loved ones. We just hear about so much tragedy in our community, y'all. It is just so depressing, and it touches everybody because and because so much of it is through gun violence.
Yes.
And we're just taking each other out. Folks don't have to suppress our vote. They don't have to do any of that stuff. It just looks like we've decided we're just going to suppress ourselves. We're going to take each other out.
That is what it seems like is happening. But, the mayor has started the Macon Violence Prevention, and we hope that people won't just take themselves out by not going.
Yeah.
There are going to be 3 meetings coming up this month, and then on the 19th, we're asking the ministers to come to City Hall at 6:30 because there's going to be that meeting of leadership, and we want ministers to come in and express and what they feel would be some good things that could happen in our community to curb the violence. I think that when you have a mayor who has stepped out and done what he has done, because the violence is basically in our community, and we need to be concerned about it. And every week, like you said, just like this past week, we had 2 additional people to die to gun violence. We don't know what this week is going to hold, but if it continues like it's been going, every week there's going to be some kind of violence that we have to experience. So we're urging all of the ministers. Dr. Jason McClendon is sending out a letter asking ministers to please come and be a part of this session, because we need to hear from the leadership in our communities. Now, at one time they were we know that the COVID kept people in, but it's kind of being relaxed a little. So we are hoping that people will come out and participate so that we can hear what's on their hearts and the kinds of things that will help to solve some of the violence that's going on.
That's right. That's right. It's just some of it. It just, you hear so much about so much happening until after a while, and it's a shame, you get so used to it until there's nothing unique about it. And that is just terrible that we've gotten so used to just hundreds of people getting killed at one time, people going into schools killing people, and then we in our own community, and our children are dying from gun violence. Mm-hmm. And then we've gotten to where we just say, it's just it is just awful. It is awful. It's got to hit us hard every time. We cannot go to sleep on this because it's just awful. We usually hear from the coroner too. So if he's listening, he needs to call us because he always gives us good information. And then we encourage him to hang in there because he has, I think, about the toughest job that there is. But we're gonna move on. We also want to thank Marcy Pitts Thornton, who is a big supporter of not only EL High School, but also of Ask Elaine. She has a small business in the Northeast Plaza Shopping Center. It's called More Thorns, and she buys very, very good merchandise. It's new merchandise, and she sells it at much, much discounted prices. She had a grand opening a few weeks ago and had music, had a food truck, had all of that. Her business is the one over next to the auto parts place, and she has a great big grand opening balloon up on top of the building. So she is doing it up right with commercials and everything, but she needs customers. Yeah. And so once you go in, you always find something. She has purses, beautiful purses. I'm not going to tell you how many I bought. I bought some jewelry. I bought some candles. I've bought a comforter set that would normally be $300 or $400, and it wasn't that. I didn't pay that for it.
Did you notice our director of small business affairs jotted her name down?
Yes, she did. She did.
That's what she does.
And
she promotes.
That's a good segue into what Sharice is going to talk about today. And for those of you who are in business, want to go in business, know someone who's in business or who is struggling, today is going to be your day to get the information, to get the help. Help is on the way. And Dr. Ficklin is going to give you the additional information that you need to know. So, call, hit share so that folks will be reminded that Ask Elaine is on. Our call-in number is 478-250-1444. 478-250-1444, and we welcome your calls or your questions, and it's on the screen if you're on Facebook Live. So Sharice, welcome to Ask Elaine. Thank you so much. I know you're busy, but we want to hear about, tell us what an Office of Small Business does for Macon-Bibb County, and then tell us some of the things that you can help small businesses with.
Yeah, so I've really hit the ground running since coming into this job. One of the things that we've done is actually streamline our application. When I came in, I think it was 11 pages. Now it's only a page and a half. And what I do mostly every day is provide technical assistance. So when they were having the PPP and EIDL, I had so many people coming in asking questions, and everybody that applied following these rules actually were able to get the needed assistance with the small business relief. So we're excited about that. Also, we have registered about 45 companies now. So that means that they're eligible to procure, to actually apply for procurement opportunities with Macon-Bibb County. We got to get our numbers up. We got to get more minorities and women-owned businesses getting contracts through Macon-Bibb County. But also in general, I am developing a list of verified companies. Like take, for instance, the Honeybee is a development program on Vineville. They wanted to work with some minority vendors.
If you'll speak into your mic.
Oh, sorry about that. Is that better?
That's better.
All
That's
right.
much better.
This is new. They wanted to work with some minority vendors, and guess what? I was able to give them painters and cleaners and other assistants. So one of the companies actually called me back, and she was a little emotional. She said, "Thank you so much for this opportunity." So we do a lot of technical assistance and connecting people.
That's great. That is great. So many small and minority businesses don't have the information they need. There's licensing requirements, and so they have to navigate all that by themselves, and everybody needs a little help. So the technical assistance is wonderful. And talk about how you help businesses that maybe are a little short on funding, because that's a major problem.
Yeah, so this is a very unique time in which we generally do not have grants for small businesses, but right now we've actually had many different grants. I do want to tell you currently we do have a $10,000 grant. That means you do not have to pay it back.
Right.
It is some requirements that you had to be in existence before COVID-19, be a brick and mortar. But other than that, it's a one-page application. And Ms. Elaine, oh my gosh, we just got to get more people to submit.
Yeah.
Right now, we don't have anyone, and correct me if I'm wrong, Dr. Ficklin, that have been approved. So I want to get the word out. We want many people. We have money just sitting there waiting, $10,000 that you don't have to pay back.
Yeah. And guess what? It's your money. It's your money that went off to the federal government, and then it came back. That's what all of this is. It's your money.
Right.
And it's left up to you whether you take advantage of it when it does come back. Because under the previous administration, it didn't come back. It went to the richest of the rich. But there are programs in place now that will benefit all of us.
And if you have a small business, it's very important that you apply for this money, because once the time period is up, it's going to be program or going to go to something else.
Yeah.
And we need small business. We know that includes barbershops, beauty shops, all these people that were affected by the COVID to apply.
Let's see who this is calling. Good afternoon, Ask Elaine.
think they hung up.
I guess we missed it. They were impatient. Pardon? Oh, the
Miss
coroner.
Please call us
All
back.
right. Thank you. Good afternoon, Ask Elaine.
Hey, Commissioner.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. Trying to push a Suburban out Panona Avenue.
What?
She broke down. You know, I'm gonna always help somebody.
I know
already
you'll
know that.
stop. I know you will. I know
You know I'm
you
gonna
will.
stop.
I'm
I
gonna
don't care
call
where I'm
you.
at.
I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna
call.
stop.
I'm gonna call you if I have anything ever. I probably can get you quicker than I can get anybody else. All right,
But
Mr.
I can tell you
Coroner.
one thing. I put that reflective vest on because I want the coroner to need the coroner.
Yes, I know it. It's always good to hear from you. Thank you for calling in. We have Dr. Ficklin and we have Ms. Stevens in with Small Business today as our special guest. I know you
Yes, ma'am.
always have something to share with us, so we're just anxious to hear what you have to say.
One, it's getting hot. It's getting hot outside.
Getting.
Pay attention to leaving kids in the car, animals in the car.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's number one. Number two, you know it's coming. Stop the killing. You
Yeah.
already know.
Yeah.
Okay, the violence program that the mayor has implemented, it has taken off. Stop the killing. We are at 32 homicides this year already.
Mm.
We at 32. Sergeant Sanchez Smith, he keeps the stat, and he got high tech stuff. And he told me what the prediction will be at the end of the year.
At this rate.
I'm not gonna mention it on the air.
Yeah.
Right. But we're at 32 homicides. In another stat that you don't hear about, we're at 21 suicides.
Mm.
Oh my.
21 suicides in the last 4 weeks. All males. Okay. 3 black, 3 white. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a stat that you don't hear about.
Yeah. So
If you know someone that's having some problems, Commissioner, get them some help. Try to get them some help.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the things that the Mental Health Matters initiative that has been started, and of course at Booker T. Washington Center, there is a group that's there that's headed by Andrea Cook to help and give this kind of counseling to people when they get stressed out like that. So we are just asking people just to refer people there so that they can get the kind of counseling that they need when they get into these situations. And sometimes people get into situations, they think they can drink their way out or smoke their way out. And the next thing they come up with is the only way they can get out of it is to end their lives. And that's a very sad conclusion. So we certainly want people to get the kind of mental health counseling that they need. So we can put a curve on some of the violence that's going on, as well as some of the suicide that's going on. I had no idea that we had gotten that high.
We're at 21. The next
21
thing is
that service is free, okay, you guys? It's free.
Yeah, it's free service.
Go
the
ahead.
next thing is my usual thing, check on your neighbor. We found 3 people deceased yesterday. And thank God for the neighbors behind Krispy Kreme Donuts on Rubin Drive. They checked on that man, because if they hadn't, ain't no telling how long that man been deceased on his front porch like that.
Oh,
so the neighbors are checking on their neighbors. We found 3 people deceased yesterday, 3 people before noon. But people are checking on their neighbors, and believe me, the coroner's office really appreciate that. We really do. I know the families. And as usual, people are not claiming bodies. That's every year, so that's nothing new. The families are disconnected. They're not. But we got what we call the Miller rule now. You got 5 days. If for 5 days they don't come, we get a court order. We have them cremated.
Yeah.
So that keeps my budget intact. I told you that a couple of weeks ago. My budget is okay now. So, but those are my tips for today.
Thank you. Would you share with us? Yeah. Go ahead.
From a healthcare standpoint, this is very important. All men out there in radio land pay close attention to what I'm about to say. As a man, you want to be a man. I have no problem with that. But if you're having chest pain, jaw pain, arm pain, pain in the neck or shoulder, get to the hospital. Okay? If you could take a baby aspirin, don't have any stomach problems, talk to your doctor about being put on a low dose 81 milligram aspirin. Women, listen to what I'm about to say. Don't worry about the national statistics. Have your mammogram done in a reasonable time, and your pap smears done in a reasonable time.
Yep.
Men, have your prostate, your PSA check in a reasonable time. Okay. The sooner the detection is, the higher the survival rate.
Right. You're right.
And get your COVID vaccine.
Yes. Both
Let's not
doses.
forget about that.
Yeah, because the stats, the numbers are going back up.
Yes,
Coroner, they're going back up because foolish people are saying, well,
and it's affecting a lot of younger people too. The numbers have doubled with the younger people.
The stats are going back up.
So
and you have the opportunity to get it too, Commissioner. You have the opportunity to get the vaccine. Get
free.
the vaccine.
Free. Yes. We like free, so let's do something that's gonna really make a difference.
What about the water challenge yesterday? You ain't saying anything about the water.
Oh yeah, Commissioners Tillman and Clark.
They can't compete with me. I'm the water guru.
I know you are. I know you are.
You remember all that water I carried down in Woodcock?
I remember, and I remember all the bites and all the other stuff that you've collected and given out over the years.
They out of their league. Now go ahead.
Yeah, but they had over 1,200 cases of water delivered on yesterday.
They out of the league. You know what I'm fixing to do now?
I know.
That's my book bag giveaway.
Yeah.
I'm going to start that back too. But listen, thank you for your time. Thank you for letting me call. I'll give somebody else the opportunity to call.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, bye.
Was he still pushing us in the car as he's giving all that?
Yeah, this young guy, he's Superman and everything, So he's something else. That coroner, I tell you, we have to continue to pray for him because he's working in a job that is just like no other job, and if he sees something that needs to be done, he doesn't wait for anybody else or ask, well, who's going to do that? He takes it upon himself.
And people really appreciated it. They, and I didn't notice the whole time I was on council for more than 30 years, is that every second Wednesday of the month, Miss McCook, they've been doing it from the 1970s. They come down and have prayer. They call every name of every elected official from the president right on down to the last person that's elected or appointed to do something. And when they got to Leon Jones's name today, the lady said, we just thank God for our coroner. He's just so... she just went on and on and on about it because he does such a wonderful job and people really appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I appreciate them for...
Well, I appreciate them too. We receive an email and we used to get a letter stating when the prayer was going to take place and inviting us to come. And through COVID, we didn't, but I still... at that particular time of day during the week, I still stop and remember that those folks are praying for us. And we really do appreciate that. If there's somebody who doesn't believe in prayer, then, I don't know.
But I think it helps a lot.
Positive energy.
It is.
Whatever you want to call it.
Because they've been doing it for so long, and then people are making decisions and doing things and not knowing. And then also today is 7/14. And that's National Second Chronicle 7/14, which is, if my people who are called by my name, and that was done all over the United States today. And Reverend Jason McCook led it this morning at 8 o'clock. So there's a lot of petitioning to God that we would do as well as we are doing.
Yeah.
And if more people would join in, I think that we'd do a whole lot
Right.
better.
Well, people got to believe in something.
Yes.
You got a problem if you don't believe in something. Believe in it strongly enough that you'll do something about it. There's got to be something. And so whatever your something is, you really need to hold on to it and do some things, not just for yourself, but for other folks. We thank our coroner and we thank our two guests. You've tuned in to Ask Elaine. You know that it's Wednesday, and anytime after 3 o'clock, we're here at historic WDDO 980 AM and 107.9 FM, loud and clear. And we want to thank the two gurus, Apostle Vertice Rozier and Bishop Don Scott, for allowing us this time to come to you each week to just spread a little more information, some stuff that you might not get otherwise, or at least get a few more details on it. We want to thank our sponsors too, who help us to stay on the air. It's about 9 years now that we've been on. It's been a long time, and believe me, we appreciate the honor that you've bestowed on us for letting us represent you, letting us be here, letting us be your voice. So thanks, all of you. We've got some folks who are listening in. Pastor Lisa is listening. What is she saying? Now, after getting out again with COVID vaccine, we can join more prayer gatherings. Yes. All right. And we've got Eloise Jefferson Hall, which says good evening. And of course, Reverend Mabel Randall is always with us. She does the call at 3 o'clock on Tuesday. I listened to a little bit of her show and then shared it. And by the way, this is recorded, so you can go to the Glory and you can pull up this particular show and you can share it, or you can replay it. If there's something you missed, then you can get that information. But we love having you there, and so thank you. And former Mayor Ellis is in Africa. So Pastor Lisa and Dr. Butler are doing his show that comes on from 4:15 to 5:15 every Wednesday, right after us. And the former mayor said he chose that slot because he knew that people would be listening, people would be already on here, and he'd have a better chance of building an audience. So I'm flattered by that. Now, let's get back to small business and community affairs. We've talked about businesses and your encouragement and getting businesses in there. What's the number? And they'll put the number up. Yes. For you, the number that folks can call if they need more information.
Our direct number is 478-803-2819. You can call us anytime. We will, if we don't answer, we will get back to you in one business day.
All right. Can't beat that. Now, Dr. Fickling, we've talked about a number of programs. We've talked about the mental health initiative. We've talked about small business. We've talked about the violence prevention. You've talked about the youth registry. Would you mention that again? Yes. And what you want young people to do? And then also talk about the youth, what is it, GCAPS?
Oh, GCAPS.
Yeah, with the youth. And if there are comments you want to make, then just jump in there. Okay.
Yeah, well, thank you so much again. We talked about all of those things, and they are involved to get young people involved in activities, and activities that young people are involved in really precludes them from being involved in crime. And of course, just like with the Office of Small Business, affairs, if we can get jobs, young people with jobs, they're not up all night, doing whatever they're doing to get shot because they're getting ready to go to work the next morning. And so that is a very important part of what we are trying to do, is make sure we get young people involved. There is a youth registry online. All you do is go to maconbib.us and it'll come across, or you can just scroll it across, and you can go in and register what you have young people doing, because we want to keep a record of how many of our young people are engaged in worthwhile, wholesome activities, and what persons are helping them with those activities. And of course, some people have been registering every day. We get someone to register. And that I've noticed in the paper this morning that there was a young man by the name of Joseph Mann, and he had a group that he had called Project 32. And I've been looking for it, and I went on Facebook, because I'm not a Facebook person, but they said you can find anything on Facebook.
Yes,
and
you
I
can.
did not find him, but I do want him to give me a call, because I want to talk with him and we want to get him registered. And of course, one of the young men in the picture was someone who had attended my church, so I knew who that was. So Mr. Joseph Mann, if you're out there, my number is 478-803-2806. And I would love for you to get in contact with us so we can get you hooked up with the youth register and just talk to you about some of the things that you're doing, because if it's working for you, it'll work in other communities too.
Yeah.
And that's what we got to do. We got to duplicate successful activities. And you also asked me about one other thing. The GCAPS.
Yes.
The GCAPS is a program sponsored by the ACCG, which is the
Association of County Commissioners of Georgia.
Okay. And of course, it is a program that will be teaching kids about government and about our particular government in Macon-Bibb County. And of course, we're going to go ahead and launch that when school starts back, so that kids can register to be in this program. And it is a very, very helpful program that will help children learn a lot about government. And sometimes they get so interested in government, they want to become participants in government. Right. But it is one of the things that will help them to learn a whole lot and inspire them, and then it will develop them for their own self-awareness and self-esteem. It's a wonderful program.
It
and
is.
We're going to be asking that the counselors and the principals nominate kids to be in the program, so that they can take part of this activity.
Right. That's why we need people to share this program. If you're on Facebook, please share. And usually we have several hundred views after the program is recorded. And so it reaches a large number of people, but we need you to share.
We have one more program
that's
also going on, the internship program. And of course, it's the mayor's office of community affairs. And of course, the internship program is going to be up for one more day. I think the day may be the last day that you can go online and apply to be a part of the internship program.
Ages and qualifications on that?
Qualifications, you have to at least be registered as a freshman in college. And then, of course, they will get a lot of great experience in working in different departments.
So if they want to go on and get the information and possibly apply today, since the deadline is near,
they need to go to maconbib.us and go to human resources and click on external, and then scroll down and they'll see Mayor's Office of Community Affairs internship.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Pastor Lisa she's just she's wonderful. She is wonderful. She says we have thousands of listeners on the radio. Yes. Thank you, Pastor. And thank you very much.
And Miss Elaine, can I add one more thing?
Yes.
So also we're working, you were mentioning our former mayor, Ellis, in Africa. We're working on our sister city relationship and getting it together. And then on November the 4th, our office is going to have an international business summit because we have international companies here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to have consulates and others, and we want our small businesses to understand that you can have customers outside of your immediate.
Yeah.
So that's going to be on November the 4th. We're excited, and you can see our departments work really good together.
Yeah. And every week, if we're gonna kind of compile this, and we'll share, you know, constantly the information so that it will help you if you're interested. And we're gonna have these folks back periodically as they are available to talk to us about these different things. They're very, very important. And as I've said before, it's your tax money. You're paying for these very fine people with the expertise to put these programs together and then to present them to you for your use and involvement. So don't sit back and talk about, you know, there's nothing to do. Folks don't include you. They just take my money and they just use it the way they want to. Yeah, they're going to do that if you don't come and take part. There are so many different things that are out there that you need to know about, you need to be involved in. So don't keep sitting there using as an excuse that there's nothing to do. There's plenty to do. Plenty to do.
With the Sister Cities program, we were always a part of it for many years, but I think that the last administration decided to take us out of that program and put us in something else. And of course it died down, and we have asked the council, or not the council, but the commission, and they have reapproved us joining, and we have rejoined the Sister Cities program, and that will open up many opportunities. And we hope that in the near future we'll be making relationship with different other sister cities where we can gain from. And right now there is a conference going on. It's a virtual conference for sister city students, and I wish that we had everything in place, because this is a very, very good conference that's going on. And I think our students would have learned a lot about international relationships and just how to deal with other cultures. And that's something that we really need to do. And let me just also say that when we're talking about different cultures, we have a culture that has come into our community that is doing a great job of getting established here. And of course, they are from Africa, the Congolese community. And we're excited about making sure that they get settled in our community and adapt to the kind of culture that they have chosen on their own to come. They chose to come to Macon. That says something good to me about Macon. Macon must be doing something good for these people to decide that they want to move out of the Atlanta area and come to Macon. And the families are growing every day.
Oh, that is wonderful. And one of the things that I'm happy about is that with the Sister Cities program, with that being part of government now, previously these different communities, one in France, one in Japan, one in Ghana, Elmina, Ghana, which we went, 2000? With former Mayor Alice, and we took books, school supplies, and medical equipment over to Elmina, Ghana. But we have celebrated Mexico as a part of Cherry Blossom. We've celebrated Japan, of course, and we've celebrated somebody else. But we've not done Africa in a long, long time. And so it's about time, and especially with the numbers of people who are of African descent who live in our community, we could switch that thing every year and have another focus, and that was the way it was intended.
Oh yes, and also while we're talking about Elmina,
say it was the 20th anniversary.
Yeah, the 20th anniversary is coming since we were there. So that means that we were there in 202 of us, maybe 201. But
I forget.
But it's gonna be coming up. It's gonna be coming up next year, and we are hoping to have a delegation to go back to Elmina,
Yeah.
so that we can be a part of the
They've
anniversaries.
discovered oil in Ghana.
Isn't that wonderful?
And that is going to change. Former Mayor Ellis, we interviewed him before. He was a guest on the program, and he was talking about that oil had been discovered in Ghana. What a change that is going to make.
And then the thing about Ghana is it is a more peaceful nation than some of the other African nations are, because like they have a wealth of wealth in the Congo, but because of the war-torn situation, fighting over the riches that are there, they really can't, get the usage out of them or receive the wealth that it would bring to the people. So that is a very sad situation. But in Ghana, for them to have all I think that's going to be great for them. We have Ernestine Wilson, who has been named one of the Queen mothers there. And I think that she's over there now. She may be there now. Yes,
she is.
That is great.
I've been following her on Facebook.
That is great.
Yeah, she's there, and she's a really, really wonderful person to have that position too.
Former Mayor Ellis is there too. He serves as sort of an emissary here in the United States for people who are relocating from Africa to the United States. And I think he serves the Southeast area, and he helps to smooth the transition of African people into the United States, because it's a culture shock. It's a different.
And then there is a vetting process that they have to go through. They have to be looked at by the CIA and the NSA and the FBI. It really takes about 2 years before they can really get a visa to come into the United States. And when we were talking with some of the Congolese, we did not know that they had gone through so much before they could even get a plane to come to the United States. So they go through a very rough kind of vetting process. And that's why when I was reading today that our president is going to allow those Afghans who had helped the United States while they was over there, they're going to lift them probably to Guam, and they'll be there until they are vetted before they can come to the United States. But that's a long process. So when people think that someone has come from a foreign country, they think that
they just come over and they're
they've been through a lot. They've been through a process. Yes, indeed.
People with a lack of knowledge. And we're going to talk a little bit more about the immigration policies of our country and how they're changing. There are people in Haiti who are their president was just assassinated, and so there's some turmoil there. You're going to see a number of people wanting to come into the United States or other places.
As well as from Cuba.
You're absolutely right. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, just to let you know that maybe some of your information is a little misguided. And under previous administrations, they've not had the people-friendly doctrines that maybe under this administration. Let's talk a little bit about other things that are going on at the commission meeting. It was yesterday, wasn't it? Yeah. Ooh. Yes, we as a commission were presented with a number of items to approve. And the focus of these fall under assistance for the homeless, food assistance, housing, which is so very important. Because I was talking with someone with EOC, Economic Opportunity Commission, and they are saying that there's just such a shortage of housing in this community, but it's nationwide. And it's being made worse because there are companies that are buying up property.
Yes.
And they are paying top dollar for it, and they're renovating it, but they're categorizing it as rental
rather than home
ownership. And the rents are so high until if a family, that's just getting by. They have to pay this very, very high rent and their utilities and all the other stuff. It's very unlikely that they're going to be able to save toward home ownership. I see that as a big, big problem. And so that was one of the things that I mentioned in our discussion on housing, and that we as a community ought to look at some of the structures that we're tearing down, but also look at some of the structures that could be renovated, and then create a program where we could have people to pay a low interest rate and become a home owner. That is just so important to build wealth in families and to carry it on, to send it on through the generation.
That's very important. I think that what we are seeing now with this mayor is a new mindset. And because he's looking at where the problems are, and he has put in resources to try to solve those problems. And that's something that we have not had in a while here in Maconville County. And of course, I think that problem that you outlined, we just need to give some time to think about, just like, for instance, with the Office of Small Business Affairs, it has just made a revolutionary change into what they are doing for people and with people and getting them the knowledge out there. And I think that there's a different mindset going in. When I was on council, my first term on council, I came with the mindset of doing something different. And right now, I take very much pride in the fact that we have cameras in convenience stores, because I sponsored that bill. When a young man got killed up on 2nd Street, and he was a Southwest student, he was working at a convenience store, and we had to come up with a way that we could kind of curb this. And so many people have been prosecuted because they were on camera.
That's right.
When we have a different mindset,
but now there's some people who say that those of us who've served a long time, we haven't done anything. We need to get out of the way and, let them,
I've never bought into that.
Me either.
But one of the things that also I want to bring out, Commissioner Lucas, is today is the 14th, tomorrow is the 15th. That's when they're going to roll out the child tax credits.
Yes.
And there is a problem with that. And I'm going to be addressing that to the senator's office as well as to the congressman's office. And the problem is this: poor people, poor women in particular, have had to do what they had to do in order to make ends meet in their households. And so a lot of times they have let other folk use their child's social security number to file on their taxes, and then hopefully that person will give them back some of the money. And so now that this child tax credit is coming out, I've spoken with a lot. I was in a community yesterday, and these women said, "No, Reverend Vic, we're not going to get any money." I said, "What?" They said, "Because, we let our children Social Security number be used by such and such a woman," and they saying they let it be used. She said, one lady told me, she said, "I don't know who has my children's Social Security number," and I said, "I don't get any money back," and say, "I'm not going to get any of this child tax credit." And I thought it was just a real bad problem.
A real problem. Now, how? So you're saying you're going to work through senators?
I'm gonna make them aware of the problem, because a lot of times when you up like that, you don't know what's going on the ground.
Yeah.
And see, these are ground problems that these people are dealing with, and they need to be made aware of them.
That's a serious thing, because that is intended to help families.
Exactly. And if they're not going to get
out
the money,
of poverty,
if they're not going to get the money. And there needs to be some kind of program put in place where they can give them.
They can restore
a grace period.
Grace period, so they can have and get their children Social Security numbers back. Because see, if it's just going to last for 6 months, in 6 months, somebody else would have gotten rich off of these children because they were using their tax.
Now, this
numbers.
tax credit, this benefit is children from 6 to 17 are eligible to receive through their custodial parent $250 per month per child. And
under
this is
6, they get 300.
and now is just such a good time for that to be coming to families with school opening up. And you know what happens when school opens up, you get your new shoes and your new clothes or whatever. And so that means an awful lot. The stimulus money and other monies like this, here again, it's our money coming back to us. That money makes such a difference in families.
And can I add, Dr.
Yes.
Ficklin, he said he's on the ground. The mindset difference is it's not just us in the office. We're in the community. We're listening. People are trusting us. And I think that's why you're seeing an evolution of these programs, because we're getting real-time feedback of what people are needing. So I appreciate you, Dr. Ficklin, for doing that.
That is real.
Yeah,
That is
and
real.
I think that they need to know about this situation, because these mothers are, if had they known that this was coming down, they wouldn't have done it. But they've been doing it for years because somebody was give them a little piece back, and while they're getting a cheaper tax bill, plus, they're getting that credit for that child. And so that's, there needs to be some grace period, some amnesty period. It's given so that the person who has been filing won't be penalized, as well as the mother won't be penalized. But these mothers had to do what they had to do in order to keep their families going. And so I understand them.
Well, there has to be some provisions made, and that is really good to get it into the hands of the folks who can really make that difference.
Yeah, it's a community affair.
It is. It sure. Yeah. Now, under the American Rescue Plan Act, Macon-Bibb County we're scheduled to receive, I think the figure is $875,000, and we've received $37.9 million. And just think of the benefits that it will carry forth into the community. Now, on yesterday, we approved. Now, this was not rescue money, but we approved some additional work in Mattie Hubbard Jones Park and also in South Bibb Recreation Centers. So we're on the way to finishing up those rec centers, and I want to see us finish up every one of them before we start on anything else. Make sure we're done with that. But under the rescue money, there was $1 million approved, and it's going to be administered for affordable housing. So that, I think, is just great, especially with the housing shortage.
It's going to be matched with some other money. So that we can do something about something.
I waited until I got the details on it. I wanted to ask some questions before I signed on as a co-sponsor. And after I got all the information, I said, sign me on. There was $600,000 of rescue funds that will go to for services to disproportionately impacted communities in the form of housing support. And that's going to go through Historic Macon, and their plan is to do some duplexes and some, what do they call them, the 4 units together. There's a name for it, but anyway, it's 4 units together. And then $5 million was set aside for the elimination of blight and construction of affordable housing in Macon-Bibb County. And I just think that I tell you, then there's $4 million that was set aside for housing support and for Brookdale Warming Center that has done so much to give people who are homeless or who are underserved the services that they have needed. And this is a multi-year kind of a contract. We approved the contract as well with United Way so that those folks can continue going through and get the total service delivery.
And in 6 months, they have been a rescue and a place for 628 people. And you wouldn't think that there was that many people who didn't have any place to be. And 380 of them are men, and 196 of them are women, and 52 of them are children. And that's a startling statistic to think that many people are just outside. And then what the thing about it is that that's not all of them.
That's right.
Because there are some who don't go, who won't go to the warming center, or it's not called a resource center. But I had some people who have convinced to go there, and there. So I carried a lady there who had been displaced from her home, and of course she had gone and had surgery on her hip, and she went in to their warming center on a walker. Had just gotten out of surgery. Last night, Al Tillman and put on a celebration.
Yeah, they collected water.
Yeah, they collected water.
And had a celebration.
They had a celebration. This same woman was up doing
that's all right. Whatever. I don't know what that was.
But she was up there getting down. I said, my goodness. I said, they doing some of it at the Brookdale one.
It's got a physical therapy, at least. $3 million from the American Rescue Plan, President Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, y'all. $3 million to mitigate the negative impacts of COVID-19 in the form of aid to tourism, travel, and hospitality. That's going to put that money back that our agencies and our museums lost during COVID. And it's going to make sure that the Tubman, the Douglas Theater, Museum of Arts and Sciences, Visit Macon, all of those are restored, have their budgets restored. So they're going to be able to operate. And I think that's great. Then there's $1 million that's going to go for COVID relief in the form of household assistance for food programs. Through for areas where people don't have easy access to fresh foods and healthy foods. That I think is just wonderful. The Middle Georgia Food Bank, $1 million, and they fed so many people. Oh, yes. You know, there's in a country like ours, we should not have hunger, but we have hungry people. And folks don't believe it because they have what they need to eat, you know. And so I just saw so many people going to get food this past year until I was just amazed, and I was so glad that this new administration was in place so that we could now have focus on people issues. And also there's another $500,000 that's going for neighborhood food distribution. So you'll be hearing about a lot of different food distribution events in this community, along with the COVID vaccine and also masks. Yeah, especially
when
still need to wear. Go ahead.
Deserts are, you know, a lot of people don't even have stores that they can go to and buy food from. So that's going to help to remedy that situation as well. And
the other one, the $2 million provisions of services for the community through social determinants of health. That includes mental health and also public health through our Macon Bibb Health Department. So I think that this was a really good distribution of the initial monies coming in.
$18,100,000.
And the community is going to start getting more. We're going to have more money coming in. I'm going to post on my Facebook page because I hear the music, y'all. I'm going to post a flyer on Georgia Rental Assistance Program. And Dr. Ficklin sent to me that the state of Georgia has a rental assistance program, and I'm going to be posting all this information. So if you enjoyed the program, let us know. Post some comments. I'm sorry I didn't relay all of y'all's comments, but thank you all of you for listening in on radio on 980 AM, on 107.9 FM. On Facebook Live. Our guests today have been Reverend Dr. Henry Ficklin and Miss Sharice Stevens with Macon Bibbs Government. We want to thank them so much. Her number, she's going to put her number in the comments, all of that information. Dr. Ficklin will put other numbers in the information here so that you can refer to it. Please share, y'all. And thank you so very much for tuning in. Take care of yourself. Remember what the coroner said about looking out for each other. And you pray for us, and we're going to continue praying for you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. We'll see you again next Wednesday at 3 for another edition of Ask Elaine. Thank you both so very much for being here. Bye, y'all.
And that was a good show, yo.
Connecting the community through gospel. The new 107.9 FM, W300EB, Macon, and WDDO 980 AM, Perry, Macon.
Oh, okay. She was my neighbor. It was.
Been working for Jesus a long time.
And just like Lisa said, a lot of folks still don't really.
Been working for Jesus a long time. Been working for Jesus a long time.
That's what people know. It's like, we have to put our numbers in
for
there.
a long time. Been singing for Jesus a long time.
I believe that.
Been running by day and praying by night. I got to keep going. It's a mighty hard fight. No.
Oh, I'm glad you called me, man.
I've been serving God